Well, hello everybody. Easter is 600 hours away. So, man, let's get this thing going. We're going to be talking about last minute ideas today on getting the promotion out. And I've got some ideas for you guys, just a checklist too. And so let me say right up top, if you want, I'm going to switch over where you can see my screen. If you want the files that I'm going to be talking about, I've got a Word document. We've got a PDF, which is our Rethinking Easter guide. And then we also have our communications matrix. So this is our matrix that we used last year inside Church Marketing University for CMU members. And it basically lists out a whole bunch of different ways. So if you want the more advanced ways in these files and the guide, if you guys just leave a comment below, then I will message you a link to download a zip file that has all three of these files, including the checklist that I'm going to be going over today. So we're going to be going over these ideas as people log on. It would help me since I'm going to be jumping back and forth between my screen, Microsoft Word, Excel, and Chrome, showing you guys some of the nitty-gritty how to do this. Let me know if you can hear me, see me, if everything looks good, sounds good. Give me a thumbs up or say, hey, Ryan, we're tracking with you. Looks good and sounds good. While people are jumping on, just a couple quick announcements here. One is Church Marketing University spring enrollment is open through Thursday night at midnight. So I'll put the link here in the document, put the link in the comments below, but it's the last time we're offering 2 years of team access at the 67% off price. So it's a really incredible deal. It's $997. That includes your entire team for the next 2 years, all the courses that we currently have, all the downloads, all the art files, and access to any courses that we launch. It also includes our generosity course, Church Audio University, all the bonuses. And so it's an incredible deal. Starting on March 9th, Church Marketing University will be back at the $3,000 mark for 1 year of access. So right now, if you are on the fence, now's the time to jump in. Christy, it looks like, and Chris, you're saying thumbs up. Okay. Good deal. So also last minute, if you're looking to get some print things, we're going to be talking about print. You still have time. We have about 600 hours left between now and Easter. So if you're looking to get some stuff printed, you still have time. Outreach can help you with that. They're our implementation partner for Rethinking Easter. So I put a link to them. We have a specific outreach specialist that you can reach out to if you need invite cards or still time to get a mailer. They're also, I think, starting tomorrow, going to start running a special on getting some flags printed. So if you want some flags printed for your outdoor signage, some stuff like that. So, 600 hours left. So it's coming pretty quick. So I mentioned the Rethinking Easter Ultimate Guide. Let me just explain that real quick. It is, if you're wanting a crash course, I absolutely love this thing. Our team went through the Rethinking Easter course and created a visual guide that helps walk you through it. So if you want a crash course, the guide is out. So if you just leave a comment below, I will message you both the guide, the communications matrix, and the outline the checklist I'm walking through today. But I absolutely love this guide. It's kind of the cliff notes to our Easter course. So again, and I think I might have even put that in the comments below on how to just a download link. But this thing is jam-packed with great ideas and much more in depth. And there's still time if you want to go through the full course. You can go through the full course, churchmarketinguniversity.com/Easter. Totally and completely all these things I'm talking about, the guide, the downloads, the matrix, the course, all for free. I think that's it. If you guys are ready, then we can jump into the last minute ideas. My goal is kind of give you, if you're the kind of coordinator, point person, or you know the person who is, tag them in a post below. I want to give you guys essentially a checklist of things to remember going into Easter. Some of these may already be on your radar. Some of these may be like, oh man, I forgot to do that. And so I want to give you guys a checklist to just go through and be like, okay, we got that. If you've waited, if you procrastinated, this can give you some ideas to still ramp up your promotion leading into Easter. I was thinking about this. I sent out the first email about Easter 2 months ago. And some of you guys have procrastinated. Adam, I'm looking at you until this point and to get started. So let's jump in and get going. I'm also going to try to get to as many questions along the way. So don't wait to ask those. If you've got a question as we're going, let's cover that as soon as possible and make this as fun as possible as we jump in and get through this. So the first idea, just make sure some of these are going to be super basic, but make sure your website is up to date and put Easter front and center. And I would do it multiple ways. So here, let me show you what Summit Park Church has going on. Chris Myers, who does the communications there, has put a header up top. So on every page, you've got the header. Then you've got Easter in the main navigation, Easter info. We have an Easter landing page as well. You can put it front and center any way that you can make it easy and put it in multiple places. Be sure to do that. It's amazing to me how the human brain varies from person to person. So you might have some person start looking at the header here. Some person might look at the navigation. So if you can put it, since it's such a big deal, in multiple places, that's going to be super helpful. And make sure it's up to date, that your information is up to date, and that that you are good to go there. And if you've got like an events page, make sure the Easter is on your events page. And so put it multiple places, because everybody's different. And when they're looking at your website, they're going to look at different. So if you can put it front and center, you can put it on the header, you can put it on the footer, you can put it in the main navigation, you can put it on events. That way people absolutely do not miss what you have going on. Angelo's saying also about thinking about posting your event to the Nextdoor app if your community has one. Yeah, that's great. Any sort of community calendars, we talk about that more in the course. But any sort of those community neighborhood type things, if you can post it in there, Angelo, that is a fantastic tip as well. If you're taking notes, just add that to it. And if you've got ideas that aren't on this list, man, by all means, throw those into the comments. And we will make sure, that everybody will kind of highlight those as we go through here. The next idea is a Google My Business post. So we talked about this inside the church marketers group. If you're not in that group, man, jump in there, have your point person jump in there because we're going more in depth with this type of stuff. But Google My Business now, I want to say it kind of feels like it's cannibalizing what Google was trying to do with like Google Local and Google Plus, if you guys remember that. And so they're always trying to figure out how do we integrate kind of the social angle and posting into our platform. So Google My Business, if you haven't heard of that yet, it's overall a best practice for your church to be on it, claim your profile, verify your domain, verify your location via the postcard. And then what they're giving you the opportunity to do is create a post. So let me show you real quick where you would go to create a post. I'm going to X out of that. And so this is what a post looks like. So if somebody's searching over here, if you see this right here, this is a Google My Business post. So it shows up on this side wall on Google for search results. What's also cool, and this is kind of how you've know that you've done it right, is you'll actually get this little badge, which I think it's kind of cool. When you do your start posting, you get this kind of verified post badge here on Google search results, which is kind of interesting. So when you create a post, what you're going to do is log into Google My Business. If you haven't done this yet, you'll have to probably go through some sort of verification process, which you need to do anyway. We talk about this a lot in Church Marketing University in the search engine optimization course, in the reviews course, why this is so important. But you'll go in here, and then what you'll do is right here is where you can create a post. And they rolled this out last fall, so you can see some of the posts that we have done. But this is where you can write a post, you can add your pictures, you can add a button, you can make this post an event. So do the posting as well. The other thing while you're in here in Google My Business is be sure you also update your hours. If you have special hours because of Easter or Good Friday service, Google always loves it when you update your hours. That way your profile is up to date. When people are searching your church, you'll notice like if people are getting driving directions, which I'm hoping a ton of people are for your Easter services, it will say that it's open as opposed to saying, hey, Summit Park Church may be closed at this time if you're doing special hours on maybe Good Friday, Easter egg hunt, adding services over the weekend. So be sure you're updating your hours, and you can do that inside of Google My Business as well. I think they give you an opportunity for special like holiday hours. Yeah, I believe is what you'll be looking for. If I'm wrong, somebody correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. But that I would do some work inside Google My Business because people are going to be searching you out. It's just a general best practice. And make sure your map location is good to go, your driving directions work, all that sort of fun stuff. It just really helps the guest experience if all that is dialed in. It makes it seamless from people searching to actually finding your church, driving there, and showing up. So, and those posts are getting a lot of good traction. Google will send you a report on how many people see those posts, and so you can kind of get that update as well. So the next idea, it's idea number 2, just trying to fly here as fast as possible. Create a highlight video from last year. So if you were able to shoot video from last year, if you're doing Easter activities, then don't forget about that footage. Go back, maybe make a short highlight video, promo video. If you had somebody shooting video at your services last year, make a short promo video. That's always a great way to get out on social media, YouTube. You can spend some money on creating an ad out of those, but don't forget about the opportunity to create a promo video out of footage from last year. Or if you didn't get video footage, then take your photos and create a slideshow or an album kind of promoting this year. And Animoto, this is what it looks like spelled out here. Animoto, if you just search that out, is a cool tool that you can actually upload those photos from last year, and you can choose a template, and it will create a really cool video out of your photography. So if you want a promo video, but you only have pictures, check out Animoto. It's a great way. I think you can try it for free, get maybe your video done. They even have music on there, and it's a cool little tool that could get you a nice looking promo video really quick. And just a reminder, if you're thinking, stink, we don't have photos or videos from last year, then don't make that same mistake this year. Put it on your to-do list to get some volunteers to shoot photos, shoot video. If you don't have professional cameras, do it right from their phone. That's okay. You can do a ton now with, some phones shoot in 4K. It's really ridiculous. So get a plan together so that you're not in this same situation next year when I do this last minute video ideas. So are you guys tracking? We good to go? Give me a thumbs up. If somebody else, maybe Christy, if you could even help me maybe post a link to Animoto. If you're still tracking, that would be a huge help. But you guys good to go? Everybody tracking so far? Any questions on the first 3 ideas, or are we ready to jump into the next one? I'm going to throw a lot out at you, but I want to be cognizant of your time as well. So keep me up to date with either reactions or comments as well. So let's jump in and get going on the next one. Email. So don't forget about all that. Link for the show notes. Yeah, Joshua, if you just comment, I will message you. Anybody who comments, if you want my notes here, like this literal checklist that you can download, print off, add to, just leave a comment in the video, and I will message you via Facebook Messenger a link to download what this Word document, our PDF guide that I'm going to be going over, and our Excel document that we're going to be going over here at the end of the video. This is what we call our communications matrix. So if you just leave a comment, you will get all the show notes, all the downloads messaged you via Facebook Messenger. So that's a good question. Email. Don't forget about the contact information you've collected. So if you did an Easter egg hunt last year, if you did a fall harvest party, if you did a big Christmas giveaway, if you did Vacation Bible School in the summer, whatever you did, think back over the last year. Did you collect contact information? If you're part of Church Marketing University, you better be collecting contact information because we talk about it all the time. And so don't forget about that information. Now's a great time to go back and be sure you're inviting those people to your Easter activities and your Easter services. And so don't forget about that. Email is a great way. You might schedule out one email a week, inviting those people, kind of explaining some of the cool stuff you have going on, your activities, that type of stuff. So don't forget about that. Email is a great way. The email is still one of the most powerful marketing tools that we have available. Just be sure you might send out one email to people maybe who don't necessarily regularly attend, and a different email to your list of people who are like partners or members or attenders. Encourage those people to be inviting other people. So again, you might schedule one email to go out to kind of more of the community and one to your regular people, one a week between now and Easter. Share stories. If you're encouraging your people to invite, share stories about people whose lives have been changed over the past few years on Easter. Share invitation stories. And then for your members, you can link to your compelling social media content. It's a great way if you do a slideshow like we talked about up here, post it on Facebook, click on the timestamp, grab the URL, and then use that in your email to drive people to see your promo video from your email. So there's a lot of creative stuff you can do with email. If you don't have time to do a lot of the stuff like Facebook ads and a lot of things we'll be talking here at the end, email is still a great way to get the word out, invite people, share stories, encourage people, and go from there. So the next one is invite cards. We talk a lot about this in the Rethinking Easter course and in the ultimate guide that we sent out. So I don't want to spend a whole lot of time talking about, but just a reminder, you still have time to get cards. Even if you could put them out the last couple weeks or the last week before Easter, you still have time. I'm a big fan of getting a nice card and putting one card per seat and encouraging everybody in your service to give away that one card that week. All they need to do is invite one person. Get rid of that one card that week. Don't overwhelm them. Give them a simple task. Have the leadership support it. Have the leadership share a story, and then pray over it in the middle of service. Have everybody grab the card and pray over it so people actually are holding the card. They're not leaving it on the seat. They're not having to go to a Connect Center. But you still have time to do an idea like that. And then if you want to, for bonus, you can get cards printed up that you can use actually on Easter Sunday. One of our CMU churches did this last year where they put cards for their next series or Mother's Day or a combination or just an invite card and then had them on all the seats on Easter Sunday because it's a great tool to get them reminder what you have coming up on your calendar. But then also they can use to invite other people because if they had a great experience at your church, what better way than equip them to help now invite their friends to come back for your next series. But we talk about all those cards leading up to Easter in Rethinking Easter. So if you want a more in-depth plan of what I really recommend for invite cards, then be sure you check out the full-on course. The next one, just to be sure you've updated your Facebook cover photo or video. I think everybody's kind of knows about this. It's a great way. Let me come over here real quick. But like this real estate right here. So if you have groups, if you have a Facebook page, be sure that you update that cover photo. If you're doing a cool slideshow or something like that, you can also now, Facebook allows you the opportunity to do that via put a video there as well. And so don't miss the opportunity to create that. And then when you create that, be sure you go in and add a description to that, because when you update your cover photo in video, what it does is it also creates a post. I don't know if a lot of people know this. It's not just updating your cover photo, it also creates a post that shows up. So once you've created this, be sure that you go in and let me see if I can show you this. Be sure that you go in and you actually add a description. So like this is the social church. This is the video that we have updated. And then when you click on it, you should be able to see the description over here. Sorry about that. You should be able to see the description over here. I see a lot of churches that will update their cover photo or video, but it doesn't have the description. So be sure you go in, add a description, add a link to maybe your website, your Easter landing page, put the service information there, and so that all of that is good to go. So as that Easter cover photo travels, then you can, they will have the information there as well. What you can also do, sometimes we recommend, I've done this on a tip of the week, if you want to add like a little call to action button inside your cover photo or video where it says click here for more information. So when somebody clicks it, it opens up and they see the description there where they can go to your landing page. So some churches have had success with that as well. So so that's the cover, Facebook cover photo or video. Be sure you add the description and a link, maybe do a call to action where it can literally say Easter, click here for more information, opens up, and there's the information about your Easter services and a link to your website. Maybe even in that you could, the description, if you're doing kids online pre-registration, which we talk about a lot in Church Marketing University, then you can also add a link to pre-register your kids there as well. So, man, flying through here, guys. Here's the next one. And by the way, spoiler alert, we have more than 10 ideas. So I'm going to give you guys plenty of ideas here on this, and then way more ideas in the communications matrix. So behind the scenes journey. So between now and Easter, if you're doing things like a planning meeting or rehearsals or practice or whatever it is that you've got going on, maybe worship practice, maybe you're doing a special video shoot, whatever it is, use that as an opportunity to invite people to Easter so you can go live. Like if you're at a rehearsal and you can talk about, oh, man, the band is practicing the musical numbers, or we're doing this or that, or whatever it is, or we're in the middle of a planning meeting, you guys are going to absolutely love it, or we're getting our Easter egg hunt ready, or I'm talking for those larger churches that are doing like a helicopter, drop. Like I'm talking with the helicopter pilot, or hey, we're flying over the church now, trying to get an aerial view of what this is going to look like. We're live from the helicopter. So you can have fun, and it can look like you've really planned it out, like where you do every single week. Maybe you do kind of a fun show, if you will, that's a live check-in on your Easter planning, and go behind the scenes in that journey. And through that process, people can get excited for your activities and the songs, and they can kind of get the feel like they know you or your leadership or your pastor or whoever it is. They can kind of start the experience now leading up to Easter. So just be sure you have fun with that. Have a blast, tell jokes, cut it up, show behind the scenes, show mistakes. Don't take yourself too seriously. But a behind the scenes journey can be wonderful leading up to Easter. You can do that, which leads into our next one. Utilize Facebook Live. So you can do that type of behind the scenes journey using Facebook Live, using Instagram Stories. It's the easiest way if you're going live, because you don't have to worry about editing it on the back end. You can just go live, have fun with it. And guess what? Here's a quick tip is, even if it doesn't go well, here's what you do. You hit the delete button, okay? So if it goes, you go live and you're like, man, that was a bomb, just hit the delete button and move on with life, okay? So you don't have to take yourself too seriously, but Facebook Live and Instagram Stories is a great way to start kind of the journey and building up excitement and anticipation. You can do it, either you're targeting the community and you're kind of making your messaging more about what they would understand, how they would understand it, or you can target your people and be more encouraging, like them to invite. So you can use Facebook Live, like inside if you have a church group, like we do at Summit Park, where we have maybe 1,000 people in the group, our closed group. You can go live in there and share stories of life change. You can put, if you've had testimony videos from the past few Easters, you can share those videos of lives that are being changed. You can pray for people's family members. You can do all sorts of stuff, and it can be segmented based on, hey, what are we going to do social media live for our community, and what are we going to do more for our maybe group, and just encourage them to keep the main things, keep praying for the church leading up to Easter. Keep inviting people. And so you can kind of have this split strategy utilizing Facebook Live. But Facebook Live right now is a great opportunity. It gets a lot more reach. Facebook seems to still be pushing it. And so Facebook Live is a cool opportunity. The next one, and again, I'm going to take a breath here probably after this one. So if you have any questions on any of these, start throwing those in now, but I'm going to explain the next one. And that would be just a simple invite video. So some churches have the equipment, maybe a DSLR camera, where they can set up some nice lighting, some decent audio, and do an invite video from the lead pastor or lead pastors or leadership or somebody that's good on camera in front, and just simply say, hey, we'd love to have you join us. You're invited this week, this Easter season, whatever it is, just a simple invite. I posted our script in the Church Marketing University members group. So if you're in that group, all our scripts that we're doing at Summit Park are in that group. So if you want our exact script, you guys can go check that out as well. But a simple invite video. And if you don't have the equipment, don't necessarily get too worried about that. Some of the best videos on social media are just getting your phone out. You may have, honestly, your lead pastor or pastors in a car going somewhere with the team. Pull out the phone and just try some takes doing, life and shooting the video right on your phone, or get next to some natural lighting at your church and have a good, I would recommend maybe a tripod or somebody with a steady hand that can hold it. You can shoot it horizontally, or I've changed my mind. You can just go simple vertical as well. Might get some hate on that, but just don't worry as much about, man, we don't have all the equipment, we don't have all this or that, and just take advantage of what you do have. You have the phone in your pocket, you have social media, and you have a ton of people at your church, even if it's 50 people, that can help you get the word out by sharing that video, tagging their friends on that video. So shoot an invite video with somebody at your church or your lead pastor and get that posted on social media, and then get that out there. And in the course, we talk about much more. And we've done two Facebook ads video, and the last video we did, I talk about a more robust invite strategy on how you can take a video like that, cross-promote the snot out of it via email and your group, your in-service, your volunteers, your staff, and then follow that up with a couple Facebook ad strategies. So you can go back on the Social Church page, see some of my ideas, see some ideas from Chris Abbott from Guts Church. But you can do that as well. So an invite video can work really, really well. Just helping your church have something that they can share on social and get that out, and gives your church something that you can put out there and run some Facebook ads and a boost, whatever you feel comfortable doing as well. So Pam is asking, has anyone done a Facebook Live from their sunrise service? Pam, I think that's a great idea. I think anything that you can do live the week of Easter. So if you're having activities, if you can go live and just have fun, it gives your church some visibility leading up and gives you an opportunity to just say, hey, we're out at our Easter egg hunt. We're having a blast. We got the, so-and-so here, and you guys are invited back. We still have an hour left or whatever, and we'd love to have you back on Easter. There's a lot of advanced stuff that you can do also with Facebook ads, where you can say, hey, anybody that watched these videos the week of Easter, we want to invite them back, and we want to pay to have our invite video shown on their Facebook feed as well, to invite them back to Easter. So there's a lot of fun stuff you can do. We don't have a sunrise service. We're doing identical services from Saturday afternoon all the way through Sunday afternoon for us. So I'm not sure about any history there, but that's a good question on that. So this next tip, man, I can't believe I'm actually going to say this. Being a kind of more of a digital marketing person. But if you're really like more of a traditional church, or maybe even if you're not, I've actually, surprisingly enough, seen a little bit of a resurgence in old school letters. I think handwritten notes have never gone out of style, but if you're like, hey, we just don't have the ability to do anything digital, Facebook Live or anything, or maybe you do and if your church is like never ever sent out like a paper letter, then sending an old school snail mail paper letter, especially if you've got a really powerful story to share. And I'm specifically targeting your church people, so your database, and maybe the letter is a vision letter from the lead pastors, explaining the invite strategy, or here's a powerful story. And then maybe you include an invite card that's in the letter, and you send that out so every one of your members gets this kind of letter from your pastor, and they're really encouraging them this Easter season to be praying and and inviting, and we've included a card. And here's a powerful story of somebody who stepped out last year, invited their friend, family member, neighbor, and what happened, and you want to use that, then again, I can't believe in some ways I'm saying the word letter, but in other ways, I think old school, when it kind of goes so far out, that it actually can kind of come back in. And so especially if your church has never ever sent out a letter, that for somebody to get a letter from your church might really stand out and be like, oh my word, what's this all about? And it could be a letter, an inspiring letter, a vision letter about your Easter services. So be sure if you're going to do that, make sure you have a good content, a powerful story, and an invite card that you can include in that letter. So the next idea is Instagram stories. Instagram, a lot of churches are jumping on that, having good success. I kind of mentioned it back up here in terms of doing like the behind the scenes stuff. So man, leverage Instagram, kind of posting content that behind the scenes, sharing stories, encouraging people to invite, showing your rehearsals, showing your planning meetings, sharing stories. All that is a great way to leverage leading up to Easter. Okay, next one. Facebook Messenger. Are you guys overloaded yet? Anybody overloaded yet? Facebook Messenger. And the idea is not to do all of these, guys. The idea is I want to just give you a list of ideas, and you can be like, okay, we can do those two. We can do that one. We can do those three. But if your church has been pretty active on social media from your page, and you have a lot of people who message your page back and forth, then what you might do is have a volunteer have a script about your Easter Sunday and just go through and utilize Facebook Messenger to message those people the information about Easter Sunday, why you're excited. You can kind of guess, do we have a lot of visitors? Do we have a lot of members who are on Messenger? Where is our audience to craft what your Easter message is going to be to them? But just kind of giving them a general, hey, here's our service times. Here's where people can get more information. Be inviting people. It's going to be a blast. It's going to be awesome celebrating Jesus and what he did for us. So use Messenger, and you could just have a volunteer message people. So that's another channel that I think some people forget about. For more advanced churches, what you might consider doing now, leading up for Easter next year, there are tools that are similar to MailChimp or Constant Contact, but they're specifically for Messenger. So you can do broadcasts where it will allow you to, anybody who has messaged back and forth from your church page, they become the equivalent of like an email subscriber. And so if you're intentional about doing things, it's one of the reasons why we do some things the way we do with Social Church, then now it allows you the opportunity to message those people in bulk. So maybe Easter 2019, by that time you could have hundreds of Messenger subscribers and you could message them all at once. But that's a little bit more of a ninja tip that takes a little bit more looking into. But Facebook Messenger, definitely these last couple email open rates, typically I would say average is probably going to be in the 20% range. Now, if you're a church marketing university and you've gone through the email course, hopefully that's a lot higher. But for most churches, 20% open rates. I think Facebook Messenger open rates are much greater than that. I think normally over 50%. Text message is even higher up than that. I want to say they're 90+%. And response rates for Facebook Messenger and text messages are way higher than even email. But the most powerful, we talked a lot about this inside Church Marketing University, is when you can layer all these things, which I'm going to jump into the communications matrix here in just a second, to show you kind of a more integrated communications strategy. But if you can use Messenger and text message, now you have to be careful. Don't be spam, don't go overdo it. You got to be really careful on how that you do it. But definitely they're a great way to get in front of people and get people's attention if you have something worthy to say. So those are two great ways. The next one, Facebook ads. If you're interested in doing this, I'm going to refer back. I'll post a link to the last two live videos we did, the one with Chris Abbott, the one I did a couple of weeks ago that goes much more in depth about Facebook ads. But if you're like, oh my word, we've totally blown it on We haven't ordered our, direct mail piece. We haven't ordered our invite cards. Then a Facebook ad strategy. What's great about that is you could have it up and going today, and you can spend as much or as little money as you want, and you can target people. And there's a ton of different ways that you can target people. For instance, you can take everybody who's, you've got their email, that have visited your church or visited one of your church events from the past 3 years. You can put them in a list and invite them to Easter. We talked about custom audiences, lookalike audiences, the Facebook pixel, but we have full videos in that. And then obviously we have a whole course inside Church Marketing University. Did I mention CMU is open for enrollment? Shameless plug. But if you're a CMU member, be sure you're jumping into the Facebook ads course or delegate that to somebody to get your strategy up and going as well. And we're talking more about that inside the CMU Facebook group for members. So text message. Here's a really good strategy that we talk about in the text course that Tyler Smith does from Texting Church. And he talks about the sermon series bump strategy. And again, if you're in CMU, you can check out the text course, check out the episode called Sermon Series Bump. The idea, Tyler says, is here's how you can get a 15% bump in your attendance for a sermon series. It will also work for Easter. So going into Easter, if you have the ability, like with Texan Church or maybe even old school, we've done it with nonprofits where we use, before we signed up with Texan Church a couple years ago, we utilize Google Text, or if your church has the ability to text from your phone number and just have volunteers. And so if you're using like an invite strategy, like the Wednesday of Easter, you can start texting your people, hey, be sure you're inviting people this Easter. Today's a great day to do it, and send that out like on Wednesday at lunchtime. So you have all your church people who are out, maybe in work meetings, out with friends, out doing whatever. And now you get a reminder to, hey, be sure you're inviting people right there in an important time of their week where they can be like, oh yeah, that's right. Hey, you guys should look at this. I just got a text reminder from my church, from my pastor or whoever. You guys should join us on Easter. It gives them a good excuse to bridge that conversation in their lunch environment, their team environment, their work environment. And text message is absolutely huge. Again, we have a whole course on that. So let's do a question, and then I'm going to jump over into the Excel document here and show you what this document is all about and why I love it. But Angelo, let's take your question here. What do you recommend for Facebook ads placement? Everywhere, Instagram ad network, or choosing your own placement? Maybe you just want to show in the news feed. Angelo, that's a really good question. And there's a very long and there's a short answer to that. I think the short answer is, unless you're really willing to dive into the CMU Facebook ads course, I think the short answer is just go with the automatic placements between now and Easter. If you don't have a Facebook expert that's working with you, Facebook will do plenty of good job in just the automatic placements. If you want to get more sophisticated, you now can do a split test. I talked about this in the Church Marketers group, kind of did a live video where I said, I told this story of how we spent $200 to talk to a Facebook ads expert for 45 minutes and how that $200 led us to net $39,000 in our business. So it was a great return on an investment. But part of that conversation dealt with split testing. And Facebook has now built that into your business ads manager where you can split test placements. But basically, if you're running your ad, you can go in and start looking at, and Facebook can do this for you, or you can do this on your own if you're monitoring it, and look at your costs. Like, what is it costing you to get a video view on your Easter invite video on Instagram? What's it costing you to get it on an iPhone or on a desktop or on the right side or the news feed or anything? And then essentially, if you start seeing, hey, it's honestly a lot cheaper just to get them on mobile devices in the newsfeed, you can turn everything else off. Or if you're running an official split test, Facebook can do that for you. So again, the long answer is we could go much more in depth, and people spend their entire career right now doing that type of stuff. But the short answer is just roll with the automatic placements if you don't have time for that. I ain't got time for that. And then you can learn along the way, and then we can go deeper. If you're in the CMU Facebook ads course in the group, we can talk about like really dialing that in if you want to go to that next level. So, Angelo, that is a great question. So let's jump over to the communications matrix. And again, if you leave a comment, I am going to message you this checklist, this matrix, and the PDF here, the Ultimate Guide PDF, wherever that is. So you're going to get all these 3 documents via Facebook Messenger. And so here's the matrix. Now, a couple of disclaimers. One, this is the matrix that I put together for Church Marketing University churches last Easter. So we do a lot of exclusive stuff for our members. We create videos for them. We try to give them additional bonus resources, and we build out things like this, and they get special videos that are done and resources that are done for them. So this is last year's communications matrix that I did for CMU churches on what, if I was their marketing director, here is the full enchilada plan that I would recommend. So if you look on here, the dates are going to be wrong. So don't download this and then start promoting Easter as April 16th because you will kill me. You'll be like, we missed. So I kid, but be sure you're aware of that disclaimer. Now, what the communications matrix is it's a way to look at all the channels of communication that your church has available to it. What we don't realize in the church world is there are so many different ways that you can communicate something at your church. And you've probably heard this idea that it typically takes 7 ways of people interacting with your content or your vision or your message for them to actually get it. So what I love the communications matrix for is it gives me a visual of all the different ways I have to communicate and then kind of my timeline so I don't miss opportunities. It's the more what I kind of call the full enchilada approach. Whereas that checklist is more like, hey, we just need 1 or 2 things. This is more like, hey, here's everything available. Then it can go through and you can be like, okay, yeah, that's right. For our series, we can put this or that. So it gives you a way. And another disclaimer, I use this tool not as a to-do list, but as an ideation tool. So I'm not managing my calendar based on this. I'm using this to create ideas. And then the team is taking these ideas and putting them into things like Basecamp or whatever you use to manage your to-do list, assign, and stuff like that. So this isn't a great project management tool as it is ideation tool, kind of the whiteboard to the next level. So it gives you a place to put like, hey, what is our big idea for Easter? What's our big idea afterwards? Or what are we doing for our series, our visuals? And it breaks it down into kind of channels. So like, here's your pulpit, like your pastor and the ways that they can do announcements, maybe live testimonies, offering devotionals, guest speakers, your lead pastor, staff leaders, special events, assimilation, your print materials, your product, if you've got product, if you're doing mailers, email and text messaging, photography, video, your screens, your environment, your website, social media, your PR and marketing. And so you can see here that there's 146 different ways that right now I have on this communications matrix. So this is a little bit more on the advanced side of life, but it's a great tool if you're ready to kind of go to that next level of seeing everything visually of what you have available to your church and then starting to plot out what you really want to take advantage of. Now, let me back this up and say, like every church won't have all of these communication channels available to them. And that's fine. What I would do is just go through here and either hide rows or delete them and kind of customize it. Or maybe you have some that aren't on here. Maybe your church, flies airplanes and pulls a banner behind it and you want to add that, our aerial blimp, whatever you have that maybe is unique to you, you could customize the matrix. But what as a communications director, when I did this day to day, I always found like I was missing stuff. I was like, oh man, we didn't go to any community calendars and put our Easter activities on our community calendars. Or, oh stink, we didn't do a press release about our big Easter egg drop. Like I would get to the end of the day of it and I'd be like, oh man, we totally forgot to write a blog post about our Easter services or our Easter outreach or our Mother's Mother's Day or the series afterwards. And so this tool just gave me the opportunity to look at all the channels available to me and then start plotting out what I wanted to do. What you'll see here in highlight, what I've done for Church Marketing University students last year, is I went through and I highlighted the things that I really would recommend. So essentially what you'll probably see is a lot of correlation between that Word document I just walked you through and the highlighted things like your profile picture. Make sure you update that for Easter. Like the yellow things are like, hey, these are the really important things, kind of the low-hanging fruit. And whereas the other stuff is just more notes to keep in mind. So you can kind of go through here and look at what I would recommend for Church Marketing University churches to do. And again, what you'll also find if you've watched the Rethinking Easter course or looked at the Ultimate Guide is that these become kind of the to-do list out of that series. For instance, we're going to kick off a new series for adults and for kids the week after Easter. We're going to start a brand new series that gives us the opportunity to invite people back. We're going to make a big deal of Mother's Day. In fact, that's my big deal with Easter here in the United States is when you start planning Easter, don't start with Easter, start with Mother's Day, then the series after Easter, then Easter. So you'll see a lot of that type of thinking, in this document and how it's fleshed out. Like 2 emails that are going to go out the week of Easter, maybe a post after Easter thanking volunteers. Again, there's all that stuff that you're like, oh man, we totally blew it. We didn't send thank you notes. We didn't send a thank you email. We didn't do a highlight video or an album after Easter. This type of tool helps you just kind of keep all those ideas organized as well. So that is the communications matrix, and you can go through here. I'm just going to glance through it real quick to see if there's anything really big that I've left out as far as, I think I've touched on a lot of the low-hanging fruit. So, guys, I hopefully that gives you some help. Here's 600 hours between now and Easter. Hopefully this is an encouragement to you guys. This is the type of stuff that I absolutely love, and this is the type of stuff we do all the time inside Church Marketing University. And again, if I can help you in any way, leave a comment below. A couple other ways, if you're not in it yet, jump in the Church Marketers group. If you want all the show notes, just leave a comment and I will message those to you. If you're a Church Marketing University church, like you've officially enrolled, whether you're brand new or you're enrolled in the past couple of enrollments, be sure you're jumping in the members only group, Church Marketing University. You'll see it members. It's all typed out because we're going to be doing some special videos going deeper into things like the matrix. I know some of you are in there, but not everybody, because that's a new thing that we're doing starting here in 2018. So be sure you're jumping in that as well. So any questions at all? Any ideas? Also, if you're watching the replay and you've got ideas on things that I didn't mention, things that aren't in the matrix, things that aren't in the guide, like Angelo had a great one of using kind of the Nextdoor platform. I know Christy's been posting some helpful stuff inside the Church Marketers group. So we love that type of church-to-church, peer-to-peer. Hey, we tried this. We're doing this. We've got some great ideas here. This is working really well for us there. And so if you've got ideas, throw those in there as well. And then one final reminder, Church Marketing University, the open enrollment, the spring enrollment is open through Thursday of this week at midnight. Again, it's the last opportunity to jump in at the 67% off price and get the 2 years of access. So it's marked down from $3,000 to $997. We have a monthly payment plan as well. Your entire team gets access, and you get access for 2 years. We're not going to offer that again after this enrollment. You're only going to get access for 1 year. So if you're on the fence, now is a awesome time to enroll. A lot of you jumped in during free February, so you've seen all the courses. If you haven't, we offer a 30-day money-back guarantee. You can jump in, go through anything, download all the resources, and still get your money back if you're like, hey, this isn't for me, or if you just want to steal all the stuff. You're welcome to do it. Get your money back if you don't absolutely love it, but I think you're going to love it. And I think you're going to see like, oh man, this can really help us. For a lot of churches, it's helping them get unstuck. A lot of churches are like, man, it feels like we're just doing all this activity. We're on a treadmill, but we're not making any progress. And we get a ton of feedback saying, man, we kept feeling like we were hitting a brick wall, or we were on a treadmill and CMU got us off that treadmill, and now we're making progress. Because there's nothing more frustrating than, as a church leader, doing all this stuff because you're called to see life change and not seeing the life change that you desire. And again, a lot of that is up to God, but a lot of it too is, man, we want to do what we can do. Part of it is supernatural and we pray like crazy and we do all that stuff. But part of it is, what can we do to get the word out? Whether it's social media, website, text, email, Facebook ads, all that sort of stuff we talk about that they don't teach you in Bible school. So I'm super pumped about it. Would love to have you jump in. It's open through Thursday night at midnight, the best opportunity that you will have. We'll open up enrollment again in the fall, but again, it will be for only 1 year of access. So now's a great time to jump in. So that's it, guys. God bless. Hopefully you guys got 600 hours. Let's finish strong, and I can't wait to hear the stories from your church of what God is doing through you guys. So let's keep at it. Let's finish strong. God bless and have a great week.